Hello and welcome. This is Dirtysaxophone, and today I have a video about N7 Day, which isn't my usual content. The algorithm is probably going to do a panic shutdown and fail to figure out where to place this video, but this is the benefit of being an unsuccessful YouTuber and pretty much not having anything to lose at this stage as a content creator. Might be making a separate channel for this kind of news-related content pretty soon, but for now, all of it can be found under one self-destructive roof while I figure it out. Fun comes first. Before we get into it, like I mentioned in all of my videos, I'm new to content creation and I have a lot to learn both in terms of video structure and speaking in general, so please bear with me as I get good. So, November 7th, 2025, N7 Day. Michael Gamble, project director for the upcoming Mass Effect 5, put out a tweet, and for those of you unfamiliar, tweets and announcements for N7 Day often have hidden messages, and this time was no exception, despite a disclaimer on the original tweet that the tweet wasn't hiding anything about Mass Effect 5. That doesn't preclude the post from containing information about the Mass Effect series being produced by Amazon, however. Fans quickly deciphered the post and arrived at this image depicting a Krogan civil war, which Gamble then confirmed to be a future event when asked by one of the fans. Now the leading theory is that this Krogan civil war will be depicted in the Amazon TV series, which to me sounds great. It picks up right where Mass Effect 3 left off, when Rex assured us that he wouldn't allow the Krogan to make war against the Council races a second time if you cured the genophage. My bet is that we'll be watching him attempt to keep his promise in the TV series. I'm not terribly excited for a Mass Effect TV show because of the horrible things I've seen happen to some of my favorite video games of all time, along with some of my favorite animated series as well. I understand Fallout, for example, is supposed to be a little zany, but it didn't take itself seriously enough at times, especially on the Brotherhood side of the story. Other aspects really were engaging from a storytelling standpoint and a lore standpoint, so it has potential, but it isn't blowing my mind. Especially because it seems to be enabling Todd Howard to feel like we can get our fix from the series while he gears up for the next single-player Fallout in 2040. I hope BioWare isn't watching and learning. But I'll give the Mass Effect series a chance most likely. While the cryptic tweet and the scramble to decipher the hidden meaning was actually really quite fun to watch in the streams of a pair of content creators that cover Mass Effect, whose YouTube handles I'll reveal later in the video and in my description, ultimately we're left with no information on the game itself. No release date, no teaser. But if we're going to be open-minded here, we would at least appear to know that Mass Effect 5 will take place after a second civil war involving the Krogan. Now, let's discuss some background and describe exactly where and from what this year's N7 presentation came from. The last time we got a totally new Mass Effect game was with Andromeda in 2017. At launch, it was skewered by reviewers and fans everywhere over some of the most entertaining dialogue bits and facial expression animations, but in the years following, it has come to endear itself to some fans. Now, I'm a low-maintenance fan when it comes to games that I've previously enjoyed. If the formula remains similar enough with an update to the story, then I'm generally happy, as long as nothing game-breaking gets in the way. A few quality of life improvements and some gameplay tweaks for an updated experience helps. Nothing lore-breaking is also good. I loved Andromeda from the start. It had some work to do if it wanted to stand side by side with the original trilogy, but being trained pioneers in a whole new galaxy, scanning alien fauna and flora, was just really up my alley and made it easy to immerse. One of my favorite things about Mass Effect is the immersion. You can feel like the character to a degree, and when the character does things you don't see your version of them doing, you can just headcanon it away in your imagination and move on, and Andromeda certainly toggled that part of my brain. The combat was an improvement altogether as well. The jump jet, for example, made the game feel updated enough. The melee weapons like the Ket Vakarsh played pretty bad, to be honest. But I used it anyway because in my brain, my version of Ryder was a sword main. There's also the Ultimate Edition, which should by all accounts be touted as the holy grail of gaming for players who have never experienced the original trilogy altogether. Imagine having no recollection of the original trilogy and experiencing it for the first time with updated graphics and all three games and their corresponding DLC arranged neatly into one package so you can binge it all the way through. Modern gamers don't know how good they have it. Meanwhile, EA and BioWare have been a marvelous train wreck from then to now. EA, for example, just got bought out by the Public Investment Fund, a government-owned private company based in Saudi Arabia that is likely targeting EA's simpler fans. You know, the ones that giggle when you jingle a pair of keys over their head but can manage a source of income to fund a $70 to $100 yearly habit packed with predatory microtransactions. Not good news for games like Mass Effect, which has fans with a more refined palate, of course, and a thirst for storytelling, character customization, and zesty romance options. EA, on the other hand, released Dragon Age: The Veilguard, previously known as Dragon Age: The Dreadwolf, and also previously intended to be an MMORPG unlike other beloved Dragon Age entries, which angered fans so much that even EA was forced to dial it back. The MMORPG Foundation still betrayed them when they tried to pivot back into a more traditional RPG, and despite the righteous anger of gamers, they still had to endure that one MCU-style trailer. It didn't do well. So now that they're finished with Dragon Age, BioWare is turning its attention to the next IP on the rotation, Mass Effect. Some might venture to say that the IP was fortunate to not have been next in the rotation when Dragon Age was made, because it might have been the one to receive the attempted MMORPG treatment fueled by corporate agendas, but at that point, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel for positives here. Just like Mass Effect content creators have been scraping the bottom of the barrel for Mass Effect related content for the last 8 years. Well, maybe not for 8 whole years. In 2020, we got one Mass Effect 5 teaser showing what must be an older Liara brushing some snow off of an N7 plate, and then in another teaser in 2023, only 3 whole entire years later, we got to see a really cool cinematic of an unidentified N7. You'd be surprised how much content you can get out of that if you run a YouTube channel focusing on Mass Effect. For those of you interested, I would like to introduce you to @Paragon7 and @Kala-Elizabeth, who have been keeping my interest in the Mass Effect franchise fresh for the last few months as we approached N7 Day 2025. They can do the same for you. I fully recommend. It's because of them that I knew a little bit more about what I was getting into as we got closer to November 7th. And that's just aside from being aware of the dumpster fire status of the publisher company. Apparently, Mass Effect hadn't been in production long enough to realistically expect a showcase with some gameplay or anything even remotely close to that for this N7 Day. That would appear to be true because almost 5 years after that first teaser trailer with Liara, we still have no tangible content to get excited about. The fact that Michael Gamble is still engaging the fans during an N7 is the only reason to hold out hope, but the truth is, Mass Effect is still in veritable limbo until the new owners take control early 2027. Nevertheless, happy N7 Day to all of my fellow fans. Personally, I kind of feel like going back and playing Mass Effect Andromeda after all of this. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing at this point. Anyway, that'll wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And if you didn't like, hit the dislike button. But don't be a coward. Hit up the comments and let me know why you didn't like it. I'm always in the market for constructive criticism. Hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed. See you on the next one.